The man collapsed without warning. One moment, he was painting his fence under the blazing afternoon sun. The next, he was unconscious on the ground, his skin burning hot but completely dry. His wife rushed him to the emergency room, convinced he'd had a heart attack. The doctors knew better. He was the third heat victim that day, and it wasn't even noon yet. What terrifies medical professionals is how predictable these tragedies are. Every victim ignored the same warning signs, dismissing them as simple tiredness. Yet heat stroke has a signature, a deadly pattern of 15 early symptoms that it broadcasts before striking the final blow. The problem, these signals masquerade as everyday fatigue so convincingly that even healthy individuals fall for the deception. Here's what keeps emergency doctors awake at night. Heat stroke doesn't just kill the elderly or sick. It's claimed marathon runners, construction workers, military personnel, and people just sitting in cars. The victims all shared one fatal mistake. They trusted their instinct that they were simply tired. But here's the twist that could save your life. While these 15 warning signs might feel like ordinary exhaustion, they follow a specific medical pattern documented in thousands of emergency cases. Once you know this pattern, you'll never mistake potentially deadly heat illness for simple fatigue again. Heat kills more Americans annually than hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and lightning strikes combined. Yet, unlike those disasters, heat stroke gives you multiple chances to recognize it and escape. The question is, will you recognize the warnings when your life depends on it?
Now let's count down the early signs of heat stroke you should never ignore, starting with number 1, unusual headache. The headache hits like a freight train, exploding behind your eyes with pulsating intensity that makes you stop whatever you're doing. You've had headaches before, but this feels different. Angry, urgent, almost violent in its persistence. Someone working outdoors suddenly experiences what feels like a pounding locomotive inside their head. The pain intensifies rapidly, unlike anything from stress or dehydration. They reach for pain relievers, but the throbbing only worsens. Mayo Clinic research reveals these are early neurological symptoms of heat stroke, occurring when excessive heat affects your brain's blood vessels and neural pathways. The pain has a distinct throbbing character and worsens progressively rather than remaining stable. Unlike fatigue-related headaches that improve with rest, heat-induced headaches intensify until the temperature crisis is addressed. Next, number 2. Dizziness or lightheadedness. The world starts to tilt, slowly at first, then with increasing intensity until you feel like you're on a ship in rough seas. Your legs feel unsteady and you reach out to grab something to keep from swaying. A construction worker laboring under blazing sun suddenly feels like the ground is shifting. This isn't just lightheadedness from exertion. It's his cardiovascular system sending distress signals as it struggles to manage rising core temperature. The CDC identifies this as different from fatigue-related dizziness. When your body overheats, blood vessels dilate, attempting to release heat, causing blood pressure to plummet. Heat-related dizziness persists even when stationary and may worsen when you stand as your cardiovascular system fights rising internal temperatures.
Next, number 3, excessive sweating followed by dry skin. At first, sweat pours off you like a faucet. You're drenched, but oddly reassured. Sweating means your body is working, right? Then something strange happens. Despite continuing heat, the sweating just stops. Your skin becomes eerily dry. A gardener working in her greenhouse starts sweating profusely, which seems normal. But then the sweating stops completely while she continues in the same oppressive heat. She feels relieved, thinking her body has adapted. This relief is deadly. NIH research reveals that when sweating stops during continued heat exposure, your body's primary cooling mechanism has shut down. Your sweat glands are biological air conditioning units. When they fail, core temperature rises rapidly without natural cooling. This creates false security when you've actually entered the most critical stage. Next, number 4, muscle weakness or cramps. Your muscles start betraying you. First comes heaviness, like your limbs are filled with concrete. Then cramps hit. Not mild aches, but sharp, debilitating spasms that can drop you to your knees. A tennis player notices unusually heavy legs during an afternoon match. He attributes it to being out of shape, but then excruciating cramps shoot through his calves and forearms. These aren't gradual complaints from overexertion. They're sudden, intense, and completely different. Journal of Athletic Training research distinguishes this from normal tiredness. When you lose excessive minerals through sweating, muscles can't function properly. Heat-related cramps have sudden onset and severe intensity, often so severe they prevent continued activity. Your muscles are short-circuiting due to dangerous chemical imbalances.
Next, number 5, nausea or vomiting. Queasiness starts as subtle rolling in your stomach, easily dismissed as hunger, but it builds, becoming insistent, until suddenly you're doubled over, retching violently. Most people blame food, stress, or heat in general. Someone at an outdoor festival feels nauseated and blames questionable food. When they vomit, they assume it's from the crowded, sweltering environment, unaware their internal temperature has reached dangerous levels. Cleveland Clinic research shows nausea and vomiting occur because your digestive system shuts down to redirect blood flow to vital organs, managing the heat crisis. Your body declares emergency, focusing all resources on a life-threatening situation. People often continue activities or take antacids, unaware their bodies are sending urgent distress signals. Next, number 6, rapid heartbeat. Your heart races like you've sprinted stairs, except you're barely moving. The pounding is so intense, you feel it in your throat, temples, fingertips. You blame being out of shape, but this feels more urgent, desperate. Someone mowing their lawn notices their heart hammering alarmingly. They assume it's from exertion, unaware their cardiovascular system runs in emergency mode, desperately trying to cool their overheating body. American Heart Association research identifies this as emergency response to rising core temperature. Your heart pumps faster to move heated blood towards skin for cooling. Exercise-induced rapid heartbeat slows within minutes of rest. Heat-related tachycardia persists because your heart continues fighting to regulate temperature. Next, number 7, shortness of breath. Your breathing becomes quick and shallow, like you can't catch your breath. It's not deep, satisfying breathing from healthy exertion. It's rapid, almost panicked, like your lungs struggle against invisible weight. A real estate agent showing properties and blazing heat notices increasingly labored, shallow breathing. She assumes it's from walking in professional attire, not recognizing her respiratory system is in distress. WHO's Heat Health Action Guide describes this distinctive pattern. While fatigue might cause slower, deeper breathing, heat stroke creates rapid, shallow breathing as lungs attempt increasing heat loss while respiratory muscles struggle with rising core temperature. This doesn't improve with rest if the heat emergency isn't addressed. Next, number 8, extreme thirst. This isn't mild thirst from forgetting to drink water. This is overwhelming, desperate craving for fluids that seems impossible to satisfy. You drink and drink, but the thirst remains, gnawing like a primal need. A lawnscaper drinking water regularly throughout his shift suddenly develops intense, frantic thirst that isn't satisfied regardless of consumption. It's not wanting water, it's like his body screams for something plain water can't provide. Harvard School of Public Health research documents this extreme thirst beyond normal dehydration. Simply drinking water may not suffice because your body has lost critical electrolytes, and cellular fluid balance is severely compromised.
Your body loses fluids faster than you can replace them, and normal thirst mechanisms become overwhelmed. Next, number 9, flushed hot skin. Your skin takes on angry red color and feels burning hot, like you're radiating heat from within. Most assume this is normal response to sun or work, but there's something alarming about this flush. It's intense, persistent, almost pulsing with heat. Someone at an outdoor tournament notices increasingly flushed, burning skin. They assume it's from direct sunlight and apply sunscreen, unaware their skin reflects critical rise in internal body temperature. NIH research reveals this indicates dangerous temperature levels. Skin becomes red because blood vessels dilate, desperately attempting heat release, and feels hot because it reflects elevated core temperature. Regular heat flush fades quickly when cooling down. Heat-related flushing persists and intensifies because temperature regulation is failing. Next, number 10, confusion or disorientation. Thoughts feel foggy, like thinking through thick cotton. Simple tasks become confusing, you forget where you put things, or find yourself somewhere without remembering how you got there. It feels like mental fatigue with an unsettling edge. An elderly person working in their garage starts having trouble remembering where they put tools minutes earlier. They feel confused and sluggish, attributing it to being tired, unaware brain function is compromised by dangerous temperature rise. Journal of Emergency Medicine research shows confusion occurs when elevated core temperature affects neural pathways and brain chemistry. Brain tissue is extremely temperature sensitive. This impairment is particularly dangerous because it affects recognizing danger and making appropriate safety decisions precisely when clear thinking becomes most critical. Next, number 11, loss of coordination. Your body stops obeying commands with usual precision. You stumble more, have trouble maintaining balance, or find hands becoming clumsy with normally effortless tasks. There's a disconnect between what your brain wants and what happens. A hiker on mountain trails starts stumbling frequently and having balance trouble. She assumes exhaustion from the long trek, not realizing thermal stress interferes with basic motor functions. CDC identifies this motor decline that people misattribute to fatigue. Rising core temperature interferes with neural pathways controlling movement and balance. Your cerebellum is particularly temperature sensitive. Coordination loss starts subtly but becomes pronounced, potentially causing dangerous falls when you need those skills most. Next, number 12, unusual behavior or irritability. Your personality shifts in ways that feel foreign and alarm others. You become unusually agitated, snap for no reason, or make out-of-character decisions. Family dismisses this as being cranky from heat, not realizing they're witnessing neurological changes. Someone normally patient becomes aggressive during a backyard barbecue. Family assumes they're grumpy from weather, unaware their brain chemistry is altered by rising core temperature, affecting personality and decision-making. WHO research documents these changes from neurological overheating effects, not discomfort. Elevated temperature affects neurotransmitter function, dramatically altering thinking, feeling, and behavior. These changes prevent seeking help or making rational safety decisions when cooperation and clear thinking are most crucial. Next, number 13, fainting or blacking out. The world goes dark without warning. One moment you're standing, next you're on the ground with people asking if you're okay. Most assume it's from being overwhelmed or not eating enough, but this fainting has a sinister cause. Someone at a crowded festival suddenly faints in sweltering heat. Bystanders assume they're overwhelmed by crowd and temperature, not recognizing cardiovascular system failure due to thermal stress. American College of Sports Medicine identifies fainting as overlooked, dangerous heat illness sign. This isn't exhaustion, it's cardiovascular emergency when blood pressure drops so severely that your brain doesn't receive adequate oxygen. People dismiss it as one-time event, not understanding their cardiovascular system just demonstrated inability to cope with thermal stress. 14. No sweat with hot skin. Perhaps the most counterintuitive and dangerous sign. Your skin feels burning hot but is completely dry, not a sweat drop anywhere. Most feel relieved when uncomfortable sweating stops, not realizing they've entered the most critical phase. A roofer working in direct sunlight experiences this progression. After hours sweating profusely, his skin suddenly becomes dry while remaining scorching hot. He feels better now that sweating stopped, unaware he's moved into the most dangerous stage. NIH research shows when your body stops sweating despite continued heat exposure, your cooling system has completely failed. This creates deadly false relief. People think the worst is over when sweating stops, when they've actually moved into critical stage where core temperature can spike to lethal levels rapidly.
Next, number 15. Seizures or loss of consciousness. In extreme cases, responses become unmistakably medical emergencies. Seizures, complete unconsciousness, or neurological collapse represent final stage where brain can no longer function due to thermal damage. An athlete pushing through intense heat suddenly experiences seizure. Witnesses might think it's unrelated medical emergency, not understanding their brain responds to critical thermal injury, pushing neural function beyond limits. Cleveland Clinic research documents these severe symptoms when brain tissue reaches temperatures completely disrupting normal neural function. This represents central nervous system short-circuiting due to thermal damage. These symptoms indicate immediately life-threatening thermal injury where permanent damage or death can occur within minutes without emergency intervention. The difference between recognizing these signs as fatigue versus heat stroke could literally save your life. Every summer, emergency departments see preventable tragedies because people dismissed early warning signs as simple tiredness. Remember, your body doesn't lie. When experiencing multiple signs from this list, especially in hot conditions, don't gamble with your health. Seek immediate shade, hydration, and medical attention if symptoms persist or worsen. Heat stroke is preventable and treatable when caught early, but deadly when ignored. Share this knowledge with family and friends, especially those who work outdoors, exercise in heat, or care for elderly individuals who are particularly vulnerable. If this video was helpful, kindly type "helpful" in the comment. That motivates us to produce more content like this. Please like this video if it provided valuable information, share it with anyone who needs this life-saving knowledge, and subscribe for more evidence-based health content. Thank you for taking the time to learn about these critical warning signs. Your awareness could be the key to preventing a heat-related emergency this summer. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, when it comes to heat-related illness, it's always better to be cautious than sorry.